Today is Are You OK Day, a day to connect with people in your life and anyone who is struggling, especially this year with coronavirus, which has left people isolated, away from loved ones, or even struggling financially. Now, today I'm joined by Scott Tipping. Welcome Scott. You're General Manager at logistics company Hanson. Now, what's the message for this year with Are You OK Day?
The message from Are You OK this year is very simple. There's more to say after Are You OK? And really that's about encouraging action post the initial conversation.
And tell me what's happening in the construction industry with mental health. It's been a very tough year.
It has been a tough year. Construction has been quite lucky in terms of being able to operate or generally operate through the recent events, depending on where you are, obviously with limited impact or less impact. Having said that, construction more generally does have a demographic that has a higher than average risk associated with mental health and suicide more generally.
And you yourself lost a colleague to suicide. That must have been, awful.
Yeah, 5 years ago this year, actually, I lost a colleague. And prior to that, I was quite oblivious to suicide and mental health more generally. It sent me on a journey of discovery where I learned a hell of a lot more about suicide, just due to the fact that I didn't know why my colleague made the decisions they made, and I wanted to understand more. And ultimately, that's what's led me to sitting in the chair here talking to you today.
So you're saying there were no signs at all at the time?
At the time, I didn't realise the signs, but knowing what I know now, there was absolutely signs.
So what are the signs that you tell people to look out for?
If you know someone and they start acting differently at all, if they're generally a somber person, they start being quite perky or happy, or if they're a perky, happy person and they start being a little quieter, if you catch up with someone every week for a dinner and a drink, whatever it happens to be, anything that takes someone out of their usual routine without a solid reason is a good opportunity to ask the question.
And then, of course, the message is that that's not where you stop. So what are those steps after saying, are you okay?
Yeah, so the first step is obviously to ask the question and engage with the person. The second step, in my mind, is the hardest one, and that's just to listen and hear what the person has to say. And obviously, pending the response from there, it's about encouraging action. If that person is struggling with something, encourage them to go and speak to someone about it. And the final step is just to check back in with that person and make sure that once you've had the initial conversation and you've encouraged action, that they do something about it.
And your personal experience with suicide motivated you to help others. Tell me about your jet ski journey that you did.
Yeah, so after my colleague took their life, I made a commitment to my team to do more to raise awareness. A couple of years after, I realised I hadn't done much to live up to that commitment I made the team. And I decided to ride a jet ski from Melbourne to Brisbane, stopping at work sites along the way and talking with the workforce about the Are You OK message and the 4 steps.
Can you remember some of those stories that came out of that journey, people having their own experiences?
Yeah, to be honest with you, that was probably the next part of my discovery around suicide. I'd been through a process of understanding more about what it was, but on that jet ski trip, speaking with the workforce, certainly learnt about the number of people who have been impacted by suicide, and that was again another realisation for me.
And with this year, I don't think we exactly know what the figures are yet. So, I mean, how can someone in your position help colleagues, and how can colleagues talk to other colleagues who may be struggling when they may not know them that well?
It's a very good question, but the answer is actually quite simple. And whilst we talk about asking, are you okay? It's really about having a conversation. So saying g'day, asking what someone got up to on the weekend, getting to know the people around you, It's very difficult to understand or know when someone's experiencing something different or they're acting different if you don't know the person. So just have a conversation, engage, and get to know the people that you spend a hell of a lot of time working around.
Do you think workforces have to do more to help people's well-being? And do you think that sometimes businesses, when someone does speak up, they try to protect the business and put them through, say, an administrative process where they're filling out forms if they're, still fit for duty? Or do you think that everyone has the support that they need out there to speak up
Look,
in the workplace?
I think each workplace is unique and each set of individuals in a workplace is unique. What I do know is workforces want to engage with mental health, and it is a very complicated topic, so there's no easy answers or easy way to go about it. On that basis, I think if a workforce has opportunity to improve, it probably aligns with society more broadly, and society's need to improve. But the good thing is there's a genuine desire there. And as I speak with organisations about this topic, and as I speak with friends and family who are in organisations, there is a genuine drive there. And for me, that's pleasing.
And do you think there's still a stigma with depression? I mean, everyone talks about it so openly now. Do you think it still exists, that fear of someone coming out because, of how they may be perceived or judged?
I certainly think there's elements of that. People are obviously quite concerned about their impression and how they come across. And I also think on the flip side, people are concerned that if they do ask a question or they get approached, how do they respond? How do they deal with that? And again, going back to the 4 steps and the message for this year about there's more to say after Are You Okay? It's about encouraging the next piece, which is around action. Go and speak to someone.
Definitely. And if you are struggling, we have all these numbers, so please reach out and help to these organisations who are there to help. Thank you.